Hi, everybody. Welcome to the new normal. I'm your host, Lisa Davis, aka Like Queen Lisa, and today's Tuesday. So you know that Amy Fulmer is going to bring some truth on New Truth Tuesday. So you guys hang in there with us. Check out the links in the description below. There's a lot going on. We'll be celebrating my daughter Mighty Mia's birthday on Thursday evening. There's ways that you can get involved. If you scroll all the way to the bottom in the description, you can buy a t-shirt. You can donate to Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and you can read more about Mighty Mia's story. So give us a like, share this video, and we'll be right back with Amy Fulmer. God bless Texas. Welcome back, everybody. Amy, how are you today on this New Truth Tuesday? You seem to be a little excited before we got started.
I am excited because we have some really important movement, Lisa. We have some wins here. And
it's good to hear.
You know, when you're fighting a battle, it's always the little things that add up to the winning of the war. So given the fact that we have been so losing our freedoms, we are losing the Constitution. We have had some big legal battle this week, some big wins. And I want to share it because I think that any wins are so important right now. And I have my favorite hero here, Shelley. So we're going to talk about Shelley. But before we get into Shelley, I just kind of want to recap. We're going to use the word infection. Is that a safe word, Lisa, to use?
Yeah, I think so. Infection or the illness. Yeah.
The illness. Okay. So bear in mind when we get talking today, guys, it's not about going away for a multitude of reasons until they usher in another one. So, but what's happening is we're having now post-legal battles in multiple levels of state and national Supreme Courts across the United States. Now, what makes this really important is that there's always a lag time when we're fighting for our constitutional rights and to keep the Constitution alive. And as you guys all know, that my whole mantra is, I lost my child, I will not lose my freedoms. So as I've watched over the past year with the infection, I believe, yes, the infection was real. We know that. And you know, my heart goes out to families that have lost people, okay? So please do not feel that this is a denigration to them. But it was a power grab by our government on multiple levels to see how much they could push the envelope. And we've seen it play out in multiple states. So what's happening now is as we have warriors, we have patriots, we have Americans all across America that are stepping up and doing their part. And I believe many more Americans that are not getting a limelight put to them. And I want to sort of dedicate Lisa Nine's channel to all the Americans like Shelley, and we're going to talk about her in a minute, that are doing in small ways what they can do to hold on to America while we still have a little America to hold on to. So given that we've had the infection, given that now it's on its way out, given the fact that the states are opening up, what we have now is we have a backlash in the court system of battles that happened last year where people are in trouble legally and they're battling it out. So what's happening now is these are getting actual, they're getting resolved. And what's starting to happen is there's more and more wins for our freedoms and our constitutional rights. This is not being reported on the mainstream media news. Lisa, are you hearing anything about this on the news?
Yeah, I hadn't heard anything on this case in a long time. No, I admit my head has been underwater, getting ready for Mighty Mia's birthday and updating websites and working with Leukemia Lymphoma Society to get all my links together so people can donate. So I have kind of been out of the loop a little bit.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. So I'm here to report in on what I can report. Again, you guys, it's really hard to get this information. You've got to like scrub around. So first, I want to go back and I want to bring up. Here we have Shelley. Now let me get to my version of Shelley, which is. Give me 1 second. Okay, here we go. So Lisa, can you scroll down so we can make sure we have a good shot of Shelley there? And oh, there we go. Okay. For those of you that may remember Shelley, 1 year ago, this was the woman in Texas, emergency lockdown. She owned that salon and she was the sole support of her family and she was complying with all the hygiene rules. But the state said, no, you can't be open. She took it upon herself to say, you know what? I'm not going to comply. I need to feed my family. I need to feed my family. So what they did was they went after her. I'm not sure if they put her in jail for 7 days. I can't find verification of that, but they gave her all kinds of fines. They shut her down.
I believe she did serve some jail time. I don't know if it was just like a check in, check out, but I kind of remember that.
Yeah, I think it was 7 days.
Okay.
Okay. So here we have Shelley. So she got all kinds of legal hassles. Now, this was at the local Supreme Court level. I guess the city of Dallas is what it was. So here we are. We're bringing here a year later. I love Shelley. We love Shelley. Now, she went all the way to the state Supreme Court of Texas. Okay. And they ruled. This is what they ruled. Now, Lisa, can you go to the other? I just wanted everyone to see Shelley. This is not the best story. This is one good story, and this is from some kind of local Dallas paper. But the other one I sent you was the one that says special report with the American flag on it. Yeah. Okay. This one gets into the meat of legally what happened. And this is what I want to share with you guys, because this is the bomb. I mean, this is like gets me excited because this is our Constitution functioning now. Okay. This is a fully functioning legal system where it battled back and forth. So at the lower level, at the city level, she gets shut down, she gets penalized, she gets thrown in jail, she fights back, and she takes it all the way to the state of Texas Supreme Court, and the ruling came in on Friday. So this is the ruling, and I want to read a little bit of this because it's a little legal, but it's simple, and you guys will get it. But the point is, and Lisa, if you have, I'm on monopolize this whole conversation, but if you've got something to say about the legal aspect of this, please chime in, because this is our Constitution at work.
I know that in Oklahoma, I reported that a friend of mine had let me know that they've secured over 90 apartments here in Oklahoma City for federal agents to come in and retry a bunch of the court issues now that Trump has given back sovereignty to the Indians. And I'm really not sure what all that means, but I think it goes hand in hand with some of this. So I'm curious to see what the Supreme Court found in this.
Okay. So remember, guys, this is the state of Texas Supreme Court. It's not the big national Supreme Court. Mm-hmm. So what we're doing is our Constitution, the legal system, just like in Arizona right now, we're moving through. This is the churning. This is the re-education of America. This is taking back our rights. These are these beautiful Americans like Shelley that have it in them to say, you know what, I'm an American. I have to feed my family. And meanwhile, she was cleaning her salon. She was doing all the masking mm-hmm. and everything. She just wanted to remain open. So here in the article, what we have is in, here we go. Okay, here we go. Oh no, this is the California one. Sorry. I got it. Give me a second here, you guys. I have a couple.
Yeah, I think at the bottom of this article it says key takeaways, and it has some really simple points.
Yes, that's
the Texas Supreme Court knocked down an order against the salon for breaking lockdown rules. The case started last year when the owner reopened fearing losing her home. And
Yes.
the court ruled that the original judge was wrong to fine and punish the woman.
Right. And so it says Dallas salon owner Shelley Luther, who stand against a lockdown order, made her a national figure of resistance to big government, won a court victory Friday that tore, note the language, guys, tore to the shreds the vestiges of a court order against her. On Friday, now I guess this is last Friday, Texas Supreme Court said that the judge who issued a restraining order against Luther last year was wrong to do so, according to the Dallas Morning News. The case, now this is the interesting part, triggered a response from state leaders, including the governor, okay, which I think is Abbott.
Yes,
Mr.
Greg Abbott.
Greg Abbott, who passed an order preventing businesses from facing penalties in such cases. So she was penalized. Then there was an order saying you can't penalize them. So again, we're churning through the system. It's taking this woman a lot of tenacity. She's got a collated team. She did a GoFundMe to get money to help her legally fight this. People rallied around. They donated. This is what is so beautiful. So the story hit national news, waking Americans up to the abusive measures, get this, imposed by governors, mayors, and judges. Okay? Now the state Supreme Court has removed, note the word, they've removed any lingering penalties against Luther. They hit the original judge hard. Let me say that again. The judge that originally tried this case at the city level or the jurisdiction of Dallas, they went back and penalized that judge for wrongfully hearing and sanctioning this woman. And they hit the judge hard, which I like that. They're holding the judges accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So they hit the judge hard. And this ruling, okay, now this is the most important part, Lisa, and I want you to weigh in on this too, is a major victory for Luther and many others who are battling similar restrictions. Even now, some states restrict free Americans from conducting business. Although most Americans are long past worrying about the infection, crooked lawmakers and judges continue to push it as a reason to infringe on our liberty. Okay? But this ruling, and this is why I'm so excited today, will send a message across the nation that government can't just clamp down on our rights. Let me pause for a second. We now have case law. This establishes case law. Now, granted, the case law is going to go state by state. But once you start a precedent in a state as big as Texas, as powerful as Texas, and especially Dallas is, their capital. It's, the big place in Texas. This is huge, okay? Over the last year, we've seen many cases brought to the high courts over lockdown orders. Okay, so this is what's going on behind the scenes, you guys. Americans are standing up for their businesses. They're standing up for the rights to feed their family. They are being safe. They are complying with all the cleaning laws. They just want to conduct business. And this is all still taking place right now in the courts. And most of the time, the courts have ultimately ruled in the favor of our rights. Let me say that again. The courts are ruling for us, you guys. They're ruling for the Constitution.
About time.
You are not what?
It's about damn time.
It's about
I'm
time.
sick of it.
Lisa, honey, you're preaching to the choir.
Yeah, I know.
You know that
It's just crazy.
it's galled me, but this is some movement. And what I'm trying to say, guys, is we have to take, like, when you look at these big battles, it's always, okay, in a military tactical situation, it's always the little skirmishes that win the war. That's part of the war room. You've got to win little things. When you're doing a legal battle in court, you've got to get through the depositions. You've got to get through the interrogatories. You've got to win the motions. You've got to go through the steps to win the whole war. That's what's happening here. That's what's happening in America now, you guys. And yes, Lisa, we've had major blows. You and I have suffered over this whole I can't even.
Rule change, regime change. Yeah.
Exactly. Right. Exactly. So the thing is when you start to see movement like this, we have to energetically support it. We have to acknowledge it. We have to acknowledge the Americans that are still fighting the system for the old infection. Now that it's going away, with Americans, we're kind of like out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah. We're also seeing a change in the messaging. Once again, we know that the CDC has changed the numbers many times. Now we have a call to pause the Johnson & Johnson.
I saw that
jab
today.
Which that was supposed to be like in the woo-woo rumor mills. That was the safe one. And they're saying that there's finding cases of blood clots, all kinds of things. So,
Lisa, brain hemorrhages, blood clots. And by the way, I'm not a doctor, but I did hear that DMX, the rapper that died, had the vaccine 2 weeks before.
You just said the V word. You're going to get me kicked off again.
Oh, Lisa.
You have to be careful. Seriously. Like I'm 2 days away from Mia's birthday. And if I lose my channel again, I'm going to lose my mind.
All right. I will be really careful.
Yes. Thank you.
I am so sorry.
We don't live in America anymore. We're somewhere over in China,
I understand.
But it's exciting to see that we do seem to be having some positive movement. I watch Monkey Works a lot. He's a military spec ops guy, former military special ops. And he, if you guys haven't watched him, go watch his YouTube channel. It's incredible. He has this software and he shows planes flying in and out, how high they are, how fast they're going, who they're registered to. He's the one that said that Hayden has never flown on Air Force One yet during this pretendency. And then we also have today he was talking about there's a lot of flights in and out of the spa. And you guys can go watch his channel and find out what the spa is. So it feels like there's some serious movement and positive things. And you bringing up this information about what happened in Texas and the ruling with the judge, I think is just more part of that positive movement. So,
well, also too, what I like here is all the key takeaways for the situation in Dallas. Number one, we're setting legal precedents in a very, very important state, and Dallas is an important part of Texas. It's, the capital. It's the main.
I don't think Dallas is the capital.
Is it San Antonio?
Is it not San Antonio? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's San Antonio.
Okay. In my head, because there's so much commerce and it's the business.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest cities, Dallas and then Houston.
But San Antonio is the capital.
But it's not that big. And
Okay, my bad.
Yeah, there you go.
My bad. No, listen, when I'm off, I'm off. I just get so worked up. But Dallas in my head is such a player. It's also it's such a big player in the crypto space right now. And I mean, what goes on in Dallas is really, really important. But the other thing that I really like about this, and this is a small thing, but let's not ignore this. The original judge was wrong to fine and punish the woman. So the Supreme Court called out the local judge.
I think that's amazing. Yeah, to hold the judges accountable is a whole nother level. I mean, I don't know what kind of actions they took, but I know, judges can be disbarred. There's lots of things that can happen to them. So for them to be held accountable for it, I think is really important too.
It is so important, Lisa, that we hold on to what little we have left. So now this brings me to my favorite next one.
Okay.
This is the California latest case that was won in my former home
Is this
state.
the 5-4 skirting
Yes,
decision?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And this is the picture, Lisa. This is the one you were
Okay.
able
This
to
is the
get
new
on the
thumbnail.
new
Yes.
thumbnail, because we didn't have a thumbnail picture, and I was like, or you put something else on, and I thought this was a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. This is great.
Okay. So, all right, you guys understand I left California because it was too liberal. I couldn't. After living there for 40 years, I loved California with my heart and my soul, like my heart and my soul, but I couldn't take it. I ran away a year ago, came to Arizona. And I will tell you, let me tell you something. There is a huge difference between a red state and a blue state.
Absolutely.
Don't let
Just driving through, it was like we couldn't wait. Ben and I could not wait to get out of New Mexico. I was like, let's just drive a little further and not have to stay the night here, because then we
in New
can't.
Mexico, what was the matter with New Mexico?
Oh my gosh, it's so liberal.
Oh, is
It's
it? Okay.
so liberal, and they made him put a mask on for us to go through the drive-through. The kid wouldn't open the window.
Really?
I'm not kidding. It's like insanity on a whole nother level. I had no idea.
So what did Ben say? I'm sure I would have
Oh
loved that.
Lord, it was it's not to be repeated.
That was probably a 30-minute rant. That was a show right there.
It is not to be repeated. Yeah.
Lisa, I'm surprised you didn't get your phone out and start filming the whole thing and post it.
No, Ben handles things in a different way. So,
well, God bless Americans.
We'll leave it at that.
Okay, so now we're going to
tell us more about what's going on, because it's exciting to see our churches being supportive and people's rights religious rights being upheld.
Okay, you guys, this is really big. As you know, we have our lovely Gavin Newsom, who is under recall right now. Mm-hmm. Now, bear in mind, nepotism is alive and real in California because he is Nancy Pelosi's nephew.
Right.
Okay. This man is as liberal as they come. I mean, he's so liberal, it's frightening. He has single-handedly destroyed Los Angeles and Southern California. Mm-hmm. I just saw last night on a YouTube that they completely removed all the gym equipment, and they completely took away all of at Venice Beach, the Gold's Gym outdoor muscle beach, where, was ground zero for bodybuilding. It was one of the historic nucleuses.
Well, I remember you telling us the story where they brought like huge truckloads of sand in to destroy the skate park so no one could enjoy it. And that was early on,
Yeah. And then also there's been some footage on some YouTube videos that drive around Los Angeles now. And I guess evidently from downtown through the beach, if you're on Wilshire, if you're on Sunset, if you drive through Hollywood, every single shop and store is vacant and boarded up, including in and around Grauman's Chinese Theater. Yeah, yeah, exactly, William. Exactly. I hope, and I think that will happen. I do believe Newsom's going to end up in jail. But basically, when you take from the 405 West, on all percent of the retail is gone, and it's block. And I saw a video this weekend, block after block after block, all through West Hollywood, Hollywood Boulevard, Sunset Boulevard, West Hollywood, all of the prime, empty, gone, and homeless encampments everywhere. So what was all these beautiful retail is now just blocks and blocks of homeless encampments. Venice Beach, there's anything, it's just pounds of homeless people. And I don't know how they justify this.
I don't know how they're trying to get the thing where the red states end up bailing out the blue states. And so that's their grand plan, is to take us all down. Even when we try to separate and say, I don't want to live there, I don't want to be under that ruling. Oh, well, then we'll put some more stimulus, they'll take it from us coming and going. Them printing this stimulus is them taking from us. It's taking
Yes.
our US dollar and devaluing it even more, giving it to others. So,
Well, Lisa, I'll take it one step farther. This latest 2 trillion, of course, we know that the American people got crumbs. The majority of it went overseas. Okay. And in the pockets of all the states that didn't fiscally manage their finances properly. So now you have states that have achieved fiscal responsibility. Let's just say Arizona. I don't know what the books look like, but the point is
you've got all kinds of chaos going on over there.
Oh, it just never stops. It just never ends over here.
Fire trucks going by.
Yeah, I know. So the thing is that the fiscal irresponsibility of the blue states versus the red states is a completely different topic for another show. But having lived and participated in the fiscal management of California, I will personally attest to the fact that the mismanagement, whether it was Los Angeles Unified School District that actually asked for the parents to bring in pencils in the richest parts of LAUSD, and Los Angeles Unified School District is the largest school district in the United States. It has a larger operating budget than IBM Corporation. And yet they still could not have enough money to have pencils in the classroom for the children.
Well, they're busy, buying ice machines and golden hammers, just like the military industrial complex. So like you said, another day, another topic. I do want to talk about the what you found with this another court decision.
What's happening is a year ago, very controversially, Newsom stepped forward and locked down, closed the churches. He said there could be no congregating, like Bible studies, people that get together in groups to have small church affairs, no open churches. They were all closed. So yet BLM could go out in the streets and express their political views, but yet you couldn't go to church, which is unconstitutional. So what happened was one case reached the Supreme Court dealing with a major battle coming out of California. Again, we're starting to see the pattern of this churning through the system. This one was for the history books. Possibly, you guys, this is huge, deciding the fate of our constitutional rights. And the court, in a tight decision, hammered California for trying to restrict our freedoms. And and that's great, Lisa. You've got the same thing I've got. Okay, good. This is from the ruling, the actual ruling. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of lifting California's restrictions on in-home religious gatherings in a late Friday ruling that said the Golden State could not restrict gatherings like prayer meetings and Bible study classes. Okay. And by the way, that's a really big thing in Los Angeles. Because of driving around to church because of the traffic. So people start these little outreach groups in their neighborhoods that are branches. Like, for example, I used to go to Hillsong, Los Angeles in downtown, but yet we had a branch that I used to go to these Bible studies at in the marina that my son's girlfriend used to actually lead. So these were really big deals. People might say, oh, it's not a big deal. But in big cities, it is a big deal because you create pods from your church and the church in turn helps support that. Government regulations are not neutral and generally acceptable and should be scrutinized whenever they treat any comparable secular activity more favorable than religious exercise, the opinion read.
That's great.
You probably knew all about how California tried to restrict indoor church services, but you might not have known just how far the liberal state went to violate, note the word violate, Americans' religious liberties. The biased Democrat leadership, aka Gavin Newsom, even tried to forbid religious gatherings in homes, claiming it would spread the virus. But yet they allowed BLM to protest during the same period of time, I might add. Okay? No hypocrisy there, though, of course. It's pretty shocking to think that California was specifically banning the one kind of meeting protected by the Bill of Rights. Let me say that again, you guys. It's pretty shocking to think that California was specifically banning religious meetings, the one kind meeting protected by the Bill of Rights. Okay, that's huge. Now, as I understand it, Lisa, correct me if I'm wrong, the Bill of Rights is a sub portion of the Constitution, like in the Constitution, then the Bill of Rights is included inside the body. Okay, just want to make sure that
that's my
I'm
understanding.
not spreading any other lies while I'm at it.
That is my understanding. So I don't know. We could both be wrong. I will happily admit to being wrong anytime.
Oh, listen, I'm lucky I can, even, breathe anymore. I mean, listen, it's amazing to me that we can even make it here to do these, because we're taking in so much information, everybody.
And disinformation. Yeah.
And
trying to identify what is disinformation, what is the right information to share with people. So,
and then at the same time, we can't even talk anymore.
Yeah. Amy, on this one, was this in like the one in Texas, was this the state Supreme Court or the national Supreme Court?
Lisa, I am going to want to say that I think this is the national Supreme Court.
Okay.
But you have the exact same question I had, because when I read this, I can't find.
Yeah, it doesn't really say. It just says the Supreme Court, which I'm guessing unless they don't say of Texas or of California.
I mean, let's look through this again. Keep your eye on it. Okay. Dinner parties, social gatherings, and other meetings in the home are specifically protected by the First Amendment. Okay, you guys, let me just say this again. This is really interesting. This is where we have the educating of our Constitution. Dinner parties, social gatherings, and other meetings in the home are specifically protected by the First Amendment. Yet California only tried to. Now, I have to stop right here, you guys. I'm sorry. This takes my breath away. It does not matter if you are an atheist, agnostic, a Christian. I don't care. These are your rights as an American. That now our government starts to get in and pick and choose what part of the Constitution that they're going to hold over your head to tell you. So if you want to go out and loot stores and protest, you can. They weren't stopping that. But yet you were told how close you could get to people on Thanksgiving.
Right. And that you couldn't be with your loved ones. And yeah, it's crazy, completely crazy.
So this is another thing. Well, I can't go there. I got to get that out of my head. Okay. One thing at a time here. Okay. So this is just one of the many examples we've seen over the year and a half where Democrats tried to ban religious gatherings. So this has been a constant thing the Democrats keep trying to do. I find that very, very, very interesting. Even as states lifted restrictions on businesses and school, Democrats continue to single out churches with discriminatory rules. Okay? The Supreme Court has been forced to weigh in on numerous cases. In most instances, they have rejected emergency orders by governors and state legislatures in favor of churches.
So it makes me think it is the national Supreme Court because they're talking about several different states. Like I said, it's not really clear in this, but I believe it's at a national level.
But you guys, here is the most important takeaway here. This one little tiny, this should be all over mainstream media. There was emergency orders issued by the governors, by the mayor. Okay. The Supreme Court, and Lisa, I think you're right. Now that I'm reading this, I think this was done at the national level. The national level came in and said, guys, governors, all you state people that issued all these EOs, you can't go around the Constitution. And we are going to rule in favor of churches because that's part of the Constitution.
So we have a new friend joining us on the channel. I want to say welcome. And they have some really interesting comment. They said in New Hampshire, or wait, what's NH? Is that New Hampshire?
New Hampshire.
Thank you. We're just confirming. We're not doing so good on the geography class today, but so it says in New Hampshire, we're having trouble taking government to court. They closed the courts and the judges would not move these cases forward. So that'll be interesting. Maybe that's why the state Supreme Courts are not being used. These challenges are not, some of them, they did make it through in Texas, but they're going to that national level. So maybe that'll skip. I don't know. I'm interested to see how that ends up playing out, if that will stall it out in New Hampshire or if they'll be able to kind of persevere through them.
Yeah, thank you, Provocateur Astrology, for that comment, because see, this is the really important dialogue that I think is so important right now. Like, I think what we're breaking down now, I think this is like the guts of America right now. Like, if this doesn't happen, if people don't continue to put these cases in front of the court system, if people like our lovely hairdresser woman in Shelley, if we don't have Shelley, we got nothing, you guys. We got nothing.
And Shelley couldn't have done that without, she did a GoFundMe. She got the community behind her. And so that, when we find these brave souls that have been attacked and are righteous in their point, we do need to come together as community and get behind them and make sure, because they're fighting for all of our rights. Just because it happened to her, it affects all of us.
Well, exactly right, Lisa. And here's the thing. Here's the deal. How wonderful are you to have this channel after your ass has been booted off? Multiple times you've been in detention, and you just keep coming back like that fly that won't go away.
Well, and it's caused me to do some things like, I've spent hours and hours. I figured out how to stream on Odyssey. So we're streaming live on Odyssey now. We requested a streaming key on Foxhole, which is Robert Beadle's kind of app and thing they're working on. I'm working on my Theta TV streaming key, getting that going. I've been uploading on BitChute. Jean-Claude mentioned he got interviewed on SGT Report a couple nights ago and mentioned what we went through as a channel and how we were taken down. So it's just, the fight is on right now for everybody. And so thankfully, like, we have my Patreon group that is just keeps me going. I get the most encouraging messages from them, and I'm able to upload there and upload extra content there, and that I would get in trouble for, to be real honest, anywhere else. So it's, the battle is on,
It is. It's game on. And I just have to,
Amy, this will get you excited too. She's he, I don't know if it's a she or a he. I can't see the little logo very good. We are about to move forward with a forensic check in Windham, New Hampshire. It made national news. So I can't believe that one.
Okay, so we're
talking about that kind of news gets hidden from people.
Right.
Because Amy and I are like looking all over for stuff. I can't believe that you didn't find that article. Okay.
Okay, so this is a forensic. Let me just double check so I know. We're talking about the vote, a forensic audit for your vote, correct?
Well, you probably shouldn't have said about 3 of those words, but yeah, the
Okay.
count and
The
the
count, the
I
count.
just
Okay.
said a check for the count.
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
I'll send you a key next time before we
Oh,
we'll have,
Lisa,
like, a little
God
word
help
key.
me. I
Uh,
know, I know, I know. But when you
oh,
listen, when you
she
have,
so
I'm a she.
we're now asking how do you identify yourself?
Yeah.
Your
How do
gender.
you present? How do you
Yes.
present?
Thankfully, she's a she, and a beautiful she
Okay.
that's here sharing some information, so I think that's great.
Well, yeah. And also for a little bit of what's on Arizona, I have not been able to find out where we're at in the
With that check
with
of the count.
yes, on the count. I don't know where we're at there, but what I do know is I heard a little skirmish, and this was on Twitter and the local Arizona news. Um, okay, so they've released the mandates now another level with the masks. So, like we talked about last week, it's now the business owner can decide what they want to do.
Mhm.
So what happened was, and that was Governor Ducey. Governor said, "Okay, I'm going to let the business owners do their thing," which as it should be. So then the mayor of Phoenix gets into it with Ducey and he says, "Oh, no, no, no. COVID's back on the rise. I demand." And so he comes out, the mayor of Phoenix comes out and says, "No, don't listen to Ducey. I'm saying, I'm saying that you have to wear masks."
But
So,
that is constitutionally but then the people can hold the mayor accountable.
well, it got into this big, and
Yeah,
Ducey came out and Ducey fired back with a bunch of legal, it was pretty sound legal, whatever they've done here.
precedents. Mhm.
Yes, correct. And Ducey said, no, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. It is my call. I lifted the order. We are back open. I trust that business owners know what they need to do for their businesses.
Maybe it's based on who's allowed to call a state of emergency. Maybe a city can't call a state of emergency, only the governor can call state of emergency. I could see where in that case that would be applicable, but, like, as far as the Constitution and law, from what I understand, the Constitution is to limit government as much as possible, and so just like how Mr. T said, people were like, "Why aren't you going in and stopping what's going on, in Seattle or wherever?"
Mhm.
Um, and he couldn't because it was, um, like the individual has the most rights. Then if you need help, then you're supposed to go. I don't know if it's to the sheriff first and then the mayor, but it's that really local small government, maybe for different issues. Then
Right.
if the mayor needs help, they're supposed to ask the governor for help, and then the governor's supposed to ask the president. These may be two separate issues, but that's where I'm wondering if the legalese part of it is who is allowed
Right.
to declare a state of emergency. I could see that a governor could declare a state of emergency for his state, but maybe a mayor cannot. And then that would
Well, I
be
know, Lisa, right as we stand now, we are under no emergency orders right now at all. It was more of like it was more of a mask mandate
mhm,
issue, as I understand. Now, I don't know if the mandate issue is a lingering portion of an emergency order, but I know all emergency orders are off right now.
okay.
So, but here again, these questions are so valid, and this is now this is where we're at right now, guys. And this, Lisa, was a great segue into sort of like, as we get to the end and we sort of tie up this segment, this is being battled out right now in the courts. Our freedoms are literally playing out, and the new battlefield is the courts. In the old days, they just got bayonets out and started shooting each other in the streets. Thankfully, we're not there. Hopefully, we
Yeah.
don't go there. Hopefully, we don't go there. But when we have beautiful rulings like this California, and I just want to do the key takeaways on this because this was really good. The Supreme Court the Supreme Court lifted a ban on in-home religious meetings in California. I think, Lisa, you're right. I think it's the National Supreme Court. The court hammered Democrats for banning religious meetings, but not secular ones. So they said, you can't pick and choose to what you want to do. This is one of the many such rulings that the court has been forced to make since the COVID pandemic. Okay. Now, even though the infection is going away and it's starting to get out of people's heads, the fight is lingering because it's always a lagging. Legal battles, like if you're going through a legal battle, everybody knows you start a legal battle and then you end up in court 3 years later. And so it's like there's like a delayed reaction in the court system. Well, that's what's happening now for the infection. We're going to have a very, very, very delayed reaction. This could go on for years. But what happens with this stuff is precedence.
Where was the article? I don't know if it's something you sent me or I sent you, or I may not have sent you, that there's several states that are filing a suit against you know who.
Newsom?
Maybe this is it, Texas, Louisiana. Yeah, this they are filing on Mr. B because major lawsuit over DHS's failure to arrest. And I
Really?
that was part of Ducey's motivation, was that he was like seeing what they were doing, releasing people into Arizona, and he's like, okay,
Yes,
no, we're
yes.
opening up. We're not doing
Lisa, this is brilliant because this leads me into the last what's going on at the border. I sent you 2 links.
Yeah. You want the scheme or the abuse?
Either one, because they're kind of the same thing. Okay, I live in a border state. When I was in California, I lived in a border state. Now, I understand people that live up towards the Canadian border, or in Lisa, like where you live, maybe it doesn't affect you yet. But
girl, I'm right above Texas. Nobody knows where Oklahoma is. We're very southern. I'm nowhere near Canada.
Okay, so what's happening then is, as we know, we have a humanitarian crisis, and I'm going to put a child crisis. Honestly, if you're an adult and you choose to walk up through the border as an adult, that's you're going to suffer the consequences of whatever that looks like.
Right.
The children that are being put in cages, they're being raped, they're being stolen,
sold.
They're finding, Lisa, babies walking around with no parents, no family, no nothing.
I saw a video of a little boy and he was crying, and they're like, what do you mean? He goes, I was with the group and they left me. They just left me here. And he's like, please help me. I don't know where. And he's sobbing. He's maybe 10 years old, maybe Kieran's
I saw
age.
that.
I mean, it was heartbreaking.
I saw that. I was almost sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I mean, I am so incensed right now at B. Shame on every human, I don't care what side you sat on, that gave Trump, I don't know, can I even say that? Gave T.
Probably not. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think we can say anything. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, N, O, P.
In other words, the wall was the most humane thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The T. And to give him, that man knew. Yes, it solved other problems. It solved the drug trafficking. We now have so much more fentanyl coming in over the borders than we did when we had border security. We are having, Lisa, I heard it was a statistic that was frightening, the numbers, like over 100,000 per week just walking over. And the next article about B, this is what he wants to do. He wants to take our taxpayers' money. This is the second link I sent you. There we go. He wants America, for us to pay them to stay at home and not come over here with our taxpayers' money.
Well, did you hear about the New York City? If you, they're offering, I don't know if it's the whole state of New York or the city, but they're offering illegals $15,600 or $15,400 in stimulus payments if they want to come to New York.
Right. Yes, I did hear that. I did hear
Since
that.
when are we paying illegals to come to New York? And then I'm thinking, like, I don't know. It just, the whole thing is so ridiculous. I can't even. So, yeah, I
Well,
had heard about this, that he's wanting to send all this money to places like Venezuela to fix their infrastructure so that their country is not suffering, so that they won't then want to come here. The problem is it'll go right into the hands of all the corruption that hold their people hostage now. The reason it's broken now is because of the leadership that's there. So sending money is just a way for them to, do
Lisa,
more money
absolutely,
laundering right out in
100%,
front of everybody.
100%, 100%. But I'll just back it out and make it that much more simple. When you see the amount of vets on the streets and we're taking care of other people, are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me? I, 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 I don't understand. We have to take care of the crisis we have in this country first. What about all the 70% of the small businesses that went out of business last year?
Right.
What about those people that worked and lost their life savings? And
And
now,
William Lester says, where's the money coming from? That's just the thing, William. They're just printing it. So it's like if you had, one of a certain kind of, authentic baseball cards, and there were only 10 in the world. And all of a sudden, they turned the printer back on, and you paid X number of dollars because you knew there were only 10 of them. And then all of a sudden, somebody turns the printing machine on and starts printing thousands of them. Well, now they're worth so much less, but you paid this for yours. So your wealth just gets cut in half and half again and half again and half again. And that's where the money's coming from. It's coming out of our pockets. It's not, when they say taxpayers' money, it's taxpayers' money, but it's also the American people that use any kind of US dollar. So,
well, yeah, I mean, we have a dilution. The dilution has been going on since 2008. But the problem with this money printing thing is we're going to pay for it on the back end in terms of inflation.
yeah.
So I go back to the cost of a loaf of bread. Um, 6 months, 9 months from now, a loaf of bread probably be 50%, maybe 100% more money. And that's how they're going to recompensate for this stimulation money. It is a flawed financial fix.
I've showed this several times on the show. Johnny Litecoin shared this with me, but this is the M1 money supply. So this is where it was, you can see it. This is 5 years out. We can even do 10 years out there. I don't know if you guys can see that. Okay. You see it slowly growing, growing, growing. All of a sudden, money printing goes ballistic. So this is just in the last year. The change in the last year of the money printing. That should shock everyone. And that means if you're not seeing it in your grocery store already, you will be very soon. And we're going to be looking at a lot of suffering in the US. Most people live month to month. They live check to check. And there's going to be a lot of suffering because the cost of food is going to go up. Cost of everything is going to go up.
I understand right now that, people are really struggling financially. But if you can buy some items, I, like I said the other day, Lisa, I'm going through this thing where like I'm almost out of my supply. I haven't bought groceries. I'm just cleaning out the freezer, everything I bought a year ago. And then I'm eating that now because things don't last forever in the freezer. Just because they're in the freezer.
No, you have to rotate through. So like we do some things where mom has these really cool little plastic can things where like you put them in at the top and it rolls down to the bottom. So you're always eating. If you pull out of the bottom, it's always the last one, last one in or first one in, first one out, I think. Yeah. And we've done that
I
when
take a little Post-it and I just date it and stick it in.
We write on a Sharpie on our freezer bags and
that rotating out. Yeah. So it really works good. But if you can, if there's dry goods that you think you need and you
Mhm.
have some extra money, I don't, I think, whether it's toilet paper or shampoo or whatever, toothpaste, all of that stuff, you guys, is going to start to go up and up and up. And oh, by the way, I think everybody knows of this computer chip shortage that we're having. So
Yeah.
if you need something like a new phone, or you need to get a new PC, or you need to upgrade a hard drive, I would do that stuff now, because this stuff is going to get more and more expensive. My one of my best girlfriends, who's lived in Tacoma, she just had the catalytic converter stolen out of her car 2 days ago, and they want that because they want the silver.
Wow. I can't believe that.
Yeah, they broke into her garage and ripped out the catalytic converter, and because that's got a lot, and I think it may be silver and rhodium. Is it rhodium? There's another
Yeah, I
metal,
don't know.
and one of the industrial. I want to say like rhodium,
Yeah.
maybe
That would be
silver.
a Charlie connect question, a
A
car
right,
question.
exactly. A Charlie, where are you when we need you?
Um,
But one of those things. So what's happening now, you guys, is now that we're letting in all these people from the border, we have a demonetized, police system, which is, I read an article, Lisa, I'm going to send it to you. The police force across America are quitting in droves.
it's
Uh,
heartbreaking. I mean, the way they're disrespected, risking their life, these crazy things that are being funded, we know, by dark forces.
mhm.
And they're, admittedly, oh, there's so many video out there that these people are you either see them being paid or they admit that they've been paid.
Mhm.
Um, this is not some, righteous actors. Well,
No,
actors for sure, but
no, no.
anyway.
So, again, you guys, I don't ever want violence or anything, but try to be on the alert. I mean, um, yeah, well, public rhodium is, I think there's rhodium in catalytic converters. Now, I know
There
that we're
might be.
moving towards electric cars, but electric cars have a lot of silver in them. You don't think Elon Musk isn't buying silver right now? If he's
Yeah.
smart, he is. If he's smart,
Yeah.
he is. And not an ETF. Not an ETF.
No. Yeah. In his possession, I'm sure. Well, we know he's
In
buying a lot of Bitcoin. So, um, we got to jump off here. I think we've given everybody some really good information. I do want to give everybody an update. Tomorrow, we are going to have a Cliff High on, and he's got lots of chores. So he's fitting us in. So we're going to be an hour earlier. So that will be 3 o'clock Central, 4 o'clock Eastern. Um, and I'm super excited. He wrote me a really sweet email and was concerned for me. And so we're going to go on Woo Woo Wednesday and have a talk about um, all things woo woo and what the risks might be to get involved and stuff like that. So I think that should be really interesting. And then Thursday night, we're going to do Mia's birthday party. So Mighty Mia is my little girl that, one of the great loves of my life that, she had, came to us through foster care and adoption. We helped her get a heart transplant, and then she passed away after 7.5 years. And we fought cancer with her at the end. So, um, I don't know if we lost our channel because mom is texting me saying, call me. So anyway, we'll, we'll wrap it up.
we
But
might be
anyway,
off.
we may
We
be, I'm
might
not
have been
sure.
an early termination. Right, right, right.
Oh Lord, I hope not. Really want to get to her birthday. But anyway, we're doing a lot to support Leukemia Lymphoma Society. There'll be a direct link that you can donate to them at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time on the 15th. And if you go to my channel, you can find that video and set a reminder. And we'll see you guys Thursday night after we do Thursday with Johnny Litecoin. So hope to see you all there. Everybody stay, I don't know, stay frosty, stay saucy. Keep looking for that good news and sharing it when you find that stuff. So we'll talk to you guys all soon here on The New Normal. Bye.